Secret behind Warren Buffett's billions. America's favorite investor loves monopoly, not free markets. They use his own words that he himself tells people, I only invest in basically monopolies. If they have monopoly pricing power, that's what I bet on and that's what I invest in and this is what I go for. And because he's one of the most successful billionaires of all time, investors of all time, everybody mimics him, thus causing a positive feedback loop where everybody also seeks out monopolies to invest in and empowerment. So look at Amazon share price. Why is Amazon soaring? Why is Warren Buffett actually finally going long a lot of these tech companies where he famously didn't during the dot-com boom? Is because now a lot of them have monopoly pricing power. They talk about the fact that, for example, he always dissed airlines. He would never invest in airlines, he said. Well, he started going long in 2016 and he owns 10% of some of these airlines. And the reason why was that, well, the Obama administration allowed the merger, these mega mergers. So you now have just 4 airlines and they have huge profits. It's often reported how suddenly the airlines have massive profits. That's because they're no longer 8, but there are 4.
Right, it's anti-competitive. So the way to grow an economy is through competition. If there's somebody sitting on top of the economy like Buffett with access to unlimited cash to buy these monopoly positions in monopoly companies, that's anti-competitive. And it should be busted up as such to create more jobs and more wage growth. But it's not happening. So they're pushing the economy to the edge of a different type of precipice, as we're saying, with the introduction potentially of a big hyperinflationary burst that's going to kill the bond market and then cause everything to be reset anyway. And then Buffett will be long gone, having made his $100 billion, but at the expense of a viable U.S. economy.
Yeah, so everybody says like he's a great capitalist, he's one of the richest guys in America, sometimes he's the richest, sometimes Bill Gates is, and blah, blah, blah. So here's an exact quote from him, the arch capitalist, they say. The single most important decision in evaluating a business is pricing power. If you've got the power to raise prices without losing business to a competitor, you've got a very good business.
Look, there's nothing wrong seeking out businesses that are in good positions and able to raise prices. But there is something wrong when you have a single entity, a private equity firm like Berkshire Hathaway, working with the government to guarantee that he's investing in sure things and monopoly positions that are aided and abetted by a corrupt government. That's not free market capitalism. That's something else. That's feudalism.
Again, they look at some of the data about how this ethos, when he was the first to invest in monopoly pricing power and everybody's followed him. Since then, 2/3 of all U.S. industries were more concentrated in 2012 than they were in 1997, The Economist found. Since the Reagan era, the federal government has abandoned antitrust enforcement with markets for products like eyeglasses, toothpaste, beef, and beer whittled down to a few suppliers. The consolidation has vastly inflated corporate profits, damaged workers and consumers, stunted economic growth, and supercharged economic inequality. Supercharged economic inequality. The Democrats' favorite billionaire basically helped facilitate this by leading by example. And we have Donald Trump, we have incompetent buffoons that run for president nonstop because we have an economy that has left most people like with nothing to lose.
Right, a supercharged economic.
So really, really interesting. And you're probably now asking, how do I tie this into cryptocurrency? Well, that is a big problem. I believe that we, since the Reagan era, we've supported monopolies, and it's everyone kind of knows this. Maybe you don't, but since the 1980s, inequality is up, wage growth is stagnant. We're getting more and more billionaires and less millionaires, and the main reason is monopolies. Monopolies do a really good job of concentrating wealth, and that's why, as long as this trend continues, we're going to get more and more billionaires, and it's going to be harder and harder for people to become millionaires. So what I believe in is cryptocurrency. I think that, in a way, if we wanted to go with Star Wars, these big monopolies, these banks are basically a monopoly. During the recession of 2008, we allowed the banks to basically become even bigger, too big to fail. So you can now go buy out all the other banks that failed. And what is the Rebel Alliance? Cryptocurrencies. I really do feel like cryptocurrencies will actually hurt monopolies and actually foster innovation, bring more competition to the marketplace, and make it where like as Buffett said, it's a smart tactic. If you are looking to make a lot of money and have guaranteed like high returns, monopoly is the way to go, especially if you know your government is not going to do anything about it. There's a lot of power in monopolies, and we've seen this. We used to be the U.S. government was very anti-monopoly, and that's why in the 50s, 60s, you had so many millionaires, and even back then probably not millionaires, but just so many wealthy people, right? I mean, you didn't have super crazy wealth, but you definitely had a lot of people that were successful or a strong, robust middle class. It's now reversing, and obviously that's why our middle class is dying. We're getting more and more billionaires, and for the most part, if you are against this, I really feel like you should check out cryptocurrency, because this is in a way the Rebel Alliance, and hopefully the cryptocurrencies figure out a way to take down the Death Star, which is, we have a banking monopoly. It's, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citibank, and Chase. I mean, I believe they own like 60% of the market, and we have monopolies everywhere, unfortunately. And I wouldn't say a monopoly, maybe Amazon is the only true monopoly, but like for example, the airlines, it's only 4 major companies. And for me, I'm a big fan of sports, and I really do believe in the NBA and the NFL model, where I don't want the government to be super, into business. I understand free markets, but at the same time, we do need to have the model of professional teams. They do a great thing where there's 32 competitive teams, and maybe there's 4 or 5 really dominant teams, but the rest of the 32 competitors actually have a chance of winning. And I don't know if we see that in our economy. I mean, I feel like, it's basically, more like college football. Sorry for bringing in all this sports analogy, but it's like you got one powerhouse team, a USC, an Ohio State, an Alabama, and then they're just playing against a bunch of like community colleges. And that's just not healthy. It's not good for the teams, like Alabama, Ohio State. Any major team is not going to really get better if they're playing against a bunch of cream puffs. They get better by playing against competition that pushes them to the next level. And that's what I feel like will make the economy better. So let me know your thoughts on this. I'm not like trying to troll Warren Buffett. I know Max Kaiser loves to troll Warren Buffett, but he's a smart guy. He's obviously taking advantage of investing in the economy, but I do feel like this is not good for our society. I believe in a robust market. I believe in 32 competitors, not 2, not 4. And if you're looking for another reason to invest in cryptocurrency or to risk your money, if you think it's risky, I do believe that this technology and this platform of cryptocurrencies and allowing, for example, an ICO, a way to raise money without having to go through a major bank like Goldman Sachs or Merrill Lynch, this is all great. So if you want to invest in the Rebel Alliance, if you're not a fan of Death Stars blowing up home planets, check out cryptocurrencies and invest in cryptocurrencies, and let me know your thoughts. And I'll talk to you guys soon.